Okay, I hear your question. I'm not gonna not answer it. However, I do have a bone to pick with you and your sister. Yeah, I'm hot. I'm hot. I'm hot.
Dan is on your side.
I was waiting for a moment. I was waiting for a moment to express this. Let's be real. I'm gonna just keep it a buck.
Keep it 100.
I'm gonna keep it 100. You feel me? Keep it a Benjamin.
Clearly, you still got a bone to pick. I mean, the one thing that I would say about that is life's not fair. And so what I want to do right now is create a souvenir for my son. Mm-hmm. I want to create a souvenir for your nephew, Alexander James Noel.
Well, yeah.
One-on-one with David. Yes, I'm here with my broski, Jefferson Noel. How you doing, bro?
What's good? We out here.
We out here. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you too.
Technically, today we're recording, and it's what is today? July
31st.
It's the end of July 31st, but this is dropping on our birthday, August 7th. Mm-hmm. Your birthday is August 6th.
That's right.
So let's start there. Let's talk about reflections of our birthday. Like, I remember one birthday you spent it handing out roses to the special women in your life, whether it's our mom, our sister, our neighbors, our friends. Yeah. How do you approach your birthday every year?
I typically do not put a strong emphasis on my birthday because I didn't do anything to be born. Mm-hmm. It was all my mom who did all the work. Yeah. My dad did work 9 months earlier.
He put in the necessary work in the beginning.
You feel me? Yeah. But my mom did all the work, and I more so think about celebrating accomplishments rather than celebrating my birthday. However, I do recognize it's still a special day, and it's meaningful, and I try to make at least somebody else feel special. And that specific birthday you're talking about, I got roses, purchased roses, and I gave it to my mom. I gave one to Mrs. Dorian, someone who's a second mother to me. Obviously, Makisha, my favorite sister.
Our only sister. Yep.
And also gave it to a few women friends as well. Yeah. Some of them, it was their first time ever receiving a rose. Wow. And I think that's very memorable. And yeah, just try to make it special because I don't really see the purpose in making a super big deal. But I guess anytime there's a time to celebrate life, I think that's a good thing to do.
Yeah. So you're not the type to celebrate a birthday week or a birthday month?
I mean, not necessarily, but I can see myself doing a birthday weekend.
Okay, true.
Birthday week, you feel me?
Yeah.
People like to celebrate each other. People like to celebrate each other's friendship, and it's a special time to do it.
Yeah. I like what you said about celebrating life because I feel like a lot of times when people gather, it's because of some kind of tragedy or some bad news or something that causes people to gather. Mm-hmm. So every opportunity that we have to celebrate life is a good one.
It's a worthy opportunity.
So let's talk about celebrating life, and I want to celebrate your life.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a little bit vulnerable here.
Okay.
I would say that as my brother, I would say that you're probably the closest person to me that I know. And one thing I probably never told you this, but I personally feel like whenever I talk to you and whenever I hang out with you, I feel safe.
Wow.
I feel like everything's going to be okay.
Wow.
And that's how I felt with Dad, and with Dad not being here anymore. Like, it takes away that buffer of having that protection from reality and from the unknown. And when you have someone that you've grown up with all of your life, who's seen you through so many different seasons, to have that steady force in your life, like, is very grounding. Yeah. And I really appreciate both your brotherhood and your friendship. So I just wanted to let you know that. Maybe a tear might come down, but
nah, I literally feel my eyes wobbling, and I'm like, ain't no way. I said, this is not how we started.
This is how we started.
It's not how we started. I literally feel my eyes wobbling right now.
Yeah, I know I never told you that, but it's something that I just felt like I definitely wanted to tell you. So let's start with that. Let's start with like where our brotherhood comes from and like the lessons that we learned from dad.
Man, I want to say dad was someone who wasn't in any major confrontations with people. He was someone who was known as a person of peace and someone who wasn't a gossiper. And all of those are hallmarks for having great relationships, because it's hard to maintain healthy relationships if you're always gossiping, if you're always in drama, if you are not really doing what's best for your neighbor. And because dad was that type of person to always be selfless and giving and seek out peaceful resolutions, always calm-headed and even keeled, like or even kill. It's
Gotta clarify.
it's I think that definitely helps with that.
Yeah.
And growing up, a lot of our bond came from both video games and playing basketball.
Sports, yeah.
And it was actually through playing sports that helped me gain confidence. Although I was never the best person.
Yeah.
Most of the time, I was never the best person when we were playing sports, but it gave me a lot of confidence to constantly get invited to play with you and your friends like Gerald. He used to come out and play. Obviously Enoch,
shout out
David
to
Dorian.
Enoch. Yep.
Enoch is a GOAT. Like, he's a legend.
I remember
people sleep on Enoch. He's a legend.
He was built like a football player, but whenever we played basketball, he played as if he was playing football. He would just run right into you.
Yeah, he wasn't afraid of contact.
Shout out to Enoch.
Hey, Enoch, I love
salute,
you, man.
Salute.
And so I would always get invited, even though I was technically a liability on a lot of the teams. You would always invite me, and that meant a lot, because then I'll go to my friends and I'll say, I'm not afraid to play you one-on-one because I play 8th graders.
Yeah.
So I'll be the 4th graders. I play 8th graders when you were in high school. Oh, I play people from high school. Right. Like, I used to say that and brag. But that means a lot, and oftentimes you don't really think about the small decisions we make, how much of an impact it'll make on the people around us. But it definitely did.
Yeah. No, that's a good point about sports. Funny story about me, and I know that you had NBA ambitions growing up. For me, in high school, and I tell this story all the time, I tried out for both the basketball team and the football team, and I wasn't, at that time, this was probably 10th grade, I wasn't tall enough for the basketball team.
You weren't tall enough?
I wasn't tall enough.
For those of you who are listening, he's 6'4".
6'4". But I didn't hit my growth spurt until the summer between my 10th grade and my 11th grade year. So when I tried out in 10th grade, I didn't make it for the basketball team, did not make it for the football team, and I was looking around for some kind of community to be involved in, and I ended up in the drama club.
Yep.
And ended up acting, doing musical theater, meeting some of my best friends like Joshua Jean-Baptiste, shout out to Josh. And I would say that even though I went that route of acting, like it really helped me to really connect with people who were sort of like the misfits and the outcasts of the school, and we all figured out how to like really connect with each other and appreciate each other. Yeah. But going back to the topic of sports, once I hit my growth spurt, then I was also naturally talented and gifted at the different sports, but I just never played organized sports.
Yeah.
So like whether it's basketball or football or tennis, those are all things that brought our community together, brought all the guys together. Not to say that we were like in the streets, but it really brought us together to do something productive. And what you mentioned about like developing confidence, that helped a lot. Being able to develop our skills and to like come back the next week when we played at Sibley and like showcase, a jump shot they were working on. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I really love that. And I think like even carrying over, just like extrapolating the idea of sports and how it brings everything together. FIFA, soccer, like that brings the world together, even if you're not familiar with soccer. I would say during the NBA playoffs and the finals, me, you, David Doran, like literally the games, like watching the games together brought us together, and I feel like that really reinforced our bond. So how do you see sports right now with like the other friends that you have, and how you dabble in sports?
Yeah, I feel like 80% of my conversations are either about health or about sports. Those are the two primary conversations I'm having.
Yeah.
And sports, to your point, is something that brings us together, but it also gives us our own language as well. And it's easier to build community when you have a common language.
Yep.
So I could have a conversation with a friend of mine, and because we're men, it's difficult to be vulnerable a lot of times, but you can be vulnerable while articulating yourself through the lens of sports. So I have some friends that we wouldn't say, man, I'm having a bad day. We'll be like, yo, I'm down by 7.
Down by 7.
I'm down by 7. It's the end of the second.
Yep.
You feel me? But I got Curry.
Yeah, I got Curry. I'm still in it.
I'm still in it. Like, as long as if you got Curry, it doesn't matter how much you're down by.
You're still in it.
So that friend is telling me that I'm not having a great day, but I still have a lot of hope.
Yeah.
Right?
Another one is like when you go through a setback and you just like ball up top.
Ball on top, right? Ball on top.
You reset.
Or you be like, yo, I threw a pick.
Yep.
and I'm like, yo, it's a pick 6?
Yeah.
Like, nah, it's just a pick. I'm like, I bet, let's go. You gotta have strong defense. You feel me? So,
actually, another thing that I heard was like looking at the 7 days of the week as a 7-game series.
Yep.
You just got to win the best out of 7.
Best out of 7. You just need 4 out of 7.
Exactly.
Yeah, because every day is not going to go great.
Yeah.
Every game is not going to go great. Unless you're LeBron, then you're going to play great 99.9% of the time. But most players are not that great. Most players are not like that.
Right.
And so you have to live with that fact.
Yeah.
And so sports help me to stay connected with friends. Sometimes, and most of my friends are married with kids, so I can't spend as much time as I would want to with them. And I'm also busy, traveling the world, traveling the country, always working on some type of book or project or whatever the case is. And I don't have as much time myself, but it's always around sports where there's a special exception when someone say, hey, I can meet you at the bar. Like that time when me, you, and Josh, we watched, I forgot what game it was, but we watched the playoff game in Flanagan's.
It was the Lakers. Was it OKC? No.
Probably most likely the Lakers.
It was definitely the Lakers, but I forgot who they played.
When LeBron was on the Lakers. For those of you. It was definitely a Lakers game, but obviously you're super busy. Josh extremely busy. I'm extremely busy. But it was because of that game, clear out the schedule, we watching the game.
Yeah.
And I think everyone needs to find what that sport is. For women who's listening to this podcast, it may not be sports, but it might be a specific issue of a magazine, or it might
Love
be
Island.
Love Island. Yeah, Love Island. I almost got excommunicated from some of my friends because I wasn't voting for who they wanted me to vote for on Love Island. Right, but it can be Love Island, or it can be business. Right, it can be a lot of those things, and so people have to find what that culture is within their friend group and rally around it.
Yeah. One of the things that you brought up when you were talking about sports was developing into a man. And that's actually what I want to talk about, and I think that is the theme of this conversation of going from a boy to a man.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what people need to understand about Jeff as a boy. Like, who was Jeff as a child?
Who was Jeff as a child? That's a great question. Something that I always say, and it's true, because a lot of people say stuff,
but it's not true.
Not necessarily mean it's true.
Capping.
Well, something that I always say is I had a great and long childhood. When I tell you I was a kid forever, I was a kid forever. I have very vivid memories of what my days were like, the people I would talk to, the people I would spend time with, the joy I felt being around friends, the activities we do, the missions we would go on, the many times I would ask mom to go to the store and her automatic answer was always no, because she cared about safety. And I would go to dad and say, Dad, mommy said I can't go to the store. I just want to go to the store and buy a honey bun. And dad would say, Mary, let him go. So I would go to my mom would say no to everything that could have exposed me to any type of danger, my mom would say no to it. But
And that's a really good point, because dad always says, let them learn from their own experience.
Let them learn from their own
So
experience.
we got that balance of, hey, be safe from our mom, but our dad let us like venture out and like learn from our own experiences.
So if I wanted to walk to Marvin's house, which was I don't know how long, but probably a mile, maybe more. But I had to cross major streets to get there. My mom would always be afraid, but dad would always trust me to go. And I just have a lot of memories of my childhood. And while it was great in part because we have great parents, we were raised by great parents. Also, there was another part of it where I battled with a lot of insecurities throughout my childhood. So I had very severe eczema my entire life. Eczema that, and when I say I had bad eczema, people are like, oh yeah, me too. And they'll show me like this baby rash. They'll show me this baby rash on their forearm. Yep. And I'm like, okay, that's eczema, but that's like Pee-wee football eczema. I'm talking about 1985 Chicago Bears defense eczema. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking that level of eczema, right? Where no matter what we did, we couldn't penetrate.
Like just like a whole cabinet of Aquaphor.
Yeah, Aquaphor, trisimilone,
yeah.
A whole bunch of medications. I was taking my entire life. Dove, you feel me?
Yeah.
And I was always afraid to show my skin. So a lot of times, even in the hot Miami sun where we were raised, I would wear long sleeve shirts or turtlenecks, ironically enough. Maybe that's why I don't like wearing turtlenecks. Because
it gives you PTSD. you got trauma.
I got trauma. Because sometimes if it's really bad on my neck, I wouldn't want people to see it. If it was super bad on my elbows, and definitely it was always worse on my ankles, knees, my whole body, basically. And that was a part of my childhood that, I would say I regret I experienced, but it also helped me to relate a lot to a lot of people who have other types of insecurities. Like I know what it's like to feel shame. I know what it's like to hide. I know what it's like to make excuses or say no to something I really want to do, but was afraid of embarrassment, like go to the beach.
Yeah.
Because growing up, I probably only went to the beach maybe 2 or 3 times. And I was raised in a place where people travel around the world to go to their beaches.
Right.
But I never had or rarely had the courage to go there because I was afraid of what people would say. And I remember one time, I think we went to the beach. I think I was with church friends, and I was wearing socks on the beach because my eczema was really, really bad on my feet. It was bad on my knees and stuff, but it wasn't as bad for me to not want to show anything. But they were like, why are you wearing socks? Why are you wearing socks? I'm like, nah. I was like, nobody else is wearing socks. And I'm smiling, nobody else is wearing socks. So I just wanted to be cool. I was like, this is me. This is my personal style when I go to the beach.
Yeah.
But in reality, I was hiding something, right? And I think a lot of people do that. We say things with a smile. We try to put on the front as if everything is good. But in reality, we are hiding a deep insecurity. Wow. And because of that experience in my childhood, I was able to see the duality of what it's like to experience joy while also having dark secrets.
That's a really good point. That's an excellent point. And then also to add to that, your allergies as well. You have nut allergies, seafood
allergy,
grass.
Yeah, grass. Who said all that? You make me look like a gook. Who said all?
One thing that I want to ask, just as far as like food allergies and like having those food restrictions, how do you feel that impacted your ability to, like, whether you're going to different events or having to go to a dinner or like having to be mindful and conscious of what you eat? How did that impact you growing up?
Okay, I hear your question. I'm not gonna not answer it. However, I do have a bone to pick with you and your sister.
Okay.
And it has specifically to do with food allergies. Okay. So the people who's watching at home, you could decide whether this is fair or not. So mommy and daddy, they'll give us money to buy candy and stuff after church, right? And so let's say you'll buy a Snickers. I can't eat Snickers because of peanut butter in it. And then there'll be, let's say, a honey bun and Skittles. So we would split, right? We would split. But I always wanted more Skittles and more honey buns because I couldn't split the Snickers. So it wouldn't make sense to split everything in fourths, because we have a younger brother, Anderson. It wouldn't make any sense to split anything in fourths because I couldn't eat one of the fourths.
Okay.
And so a bone that I have to pick with all of our siblings is you always split everything evenly when in reality, technically it wasn't fair because I couldn't share any Snickers with you all. So how did it affect me? Even into adulthood, I'm still upset about that. There's so many now laters, Starburst. I'm talking all the candies in the world. Y'all didn't split evenly with me, technically, because y'all said, oh, we have to split everything in fourths. Well, I couldn't eat the Snickers. I couldn't eat all the other peanut butter lace candies like the Reese's Pieces and all those other.
Dan over there.
Yeah, I'm hot. I'm hot. I'm hot.
Dan is on your side.
I was waiting for a moment. To express this. As a matter of fact, I was talking with somebody the other day and I brought this up. And I was living. And y'all are very smart people. Y'all are very smart people. So I think y'all understood my point, but y'all made like I didn't understand it. So how did it affect me? It made me angry, and it still makes me
Clearly, you still got a bone to pick. I mean, the one thing that I would say about that is life's not fair. Life's not fair, but you got to make it fair for you.
Well, clearly life is not.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I definitely felt excluded a lot. Daddy, he loved eating fish, so many times mommy would make fish for him.
Yeah.
And sometimes if there's not any chicken or turkey or whatever, then I would have no protein on my plate. But I guess that's how it'll affect me. But the thing that affected me the most is the candy situation.
Yeah, I mean, clearly. I guess just to get serious on that topic, I think that just growing up with you and understanding your food restrictions and your allergies, I think it allowed us to be more mindful of you, of taking care of you, of like looking out for you. Like whenever we would go to some place and like we would be your champion and we would be your advocate and be like, oh, make sure there's no nuts in it or make sure there's no fish in it. And I would also relate that to our younger brother, Anderson, and we don't talk about him a lot. A lot of people don't know about Anderson. So I want to spend a little bit of time talking about him and what kind of impact he has had on our family. For me personally, Anderson, he was born in 96. So he'd be turning 30 this year.
Oh my God, yeah.
That's crazy. This is big 30.
Big 3-0.
The big 3-0. His Steph Curry year.
Yeah, it's Curry year.
Anderson, he's our younger brother. He has Down syndrome. He is nonverbal, so he doesn't talk. But he's also the most popular Noel. Like literally at my mom's church, everyone knows about him. I'll speak for myself personally. I think that growing up with Anderson and his condition, like I think it brought our family together, and I loved to see how Dad like cared and loved for Anderson, even though he had like certain deficiencies and things like that, but like he showed love and he showed care. And I think that that's just another example of, seeing someone who's in need, who is fully dependent on everyone around them. And for us, the greatest love that we can give is to care for him and to take care of him. Just growing up with that and seeing that and like showing the love and going to visit him in the home that he's in, it has allowed me to appreciate other people and understand maybe some of the struggles that they're dealing with, to show them that love and show them that care. So just talk a little bit, put this on wax, like what does Anderson mean to you?
Yeah. I mean, Anderson means the world. His entire life has showed me what true self-actualization is. Because I remember when I was learning about Maslow's hierarchy of needs in high school, and I was looking at the different levels in order to reach self-actualization. So the bottom would say you need food, you need sex, you need, I think, shelter,
Yep.
was there.
Yep.
And then the next would be relationships. I forgot the exact order, but there was this hierarchy in order to be self-actualized. And, you know, Anderson obviously had food and shelter. I don't think he had.
No, he wasn't greasing.
I don't think he had. But,
Not that I know of.
but he was always happy.
Yeah.
He was always happy. He was always surrounded by love. And if you look at the Maslow hierarchy, a lot of the things that's there in order to achieve true happiness, he either didn't have or couldn't have. But yet he has achieved this level of joy and peace that most people don't have. And so when we look at Anderson, if an outsider were to look at him, they'll see someone with a disability. When I look at him, I see someone who's peaceful. I see someone who's joyful.
Yeah.
And that tells me, the lesson that is for me is that looks may be deceiving, because the person that you think is disadvantaged might have more of an advantage than you.
Yeah.
And I think that's a powerful lesson. Also with Dad, Dad, we all love Anderson, but he had a very special love for him, a very special care for him. He would always, shower him. He would make these special meals. Like, many times when people think of someone who can't fend for themselves, you think of, I'll get the big chicken, and you'll give someone who can't speak for themselves something menial, or the burnt part of the chicken, or whatever the case is. But Dad always made sure that he received the same level and respect as all of us. And I think that was a very important lesson. No matter who you are, no matter what your condition is, you are worthy of love. You are worthy of respect. You are worthy of being seen as human. And I think that's a very, very powerful lesson.
Yeah.
And another thing that I think about, and I wrote about it in one of my books, is growing up, we had, what do they call it? Oh, gates. We had a gate on our front porch, a gate on our back door, and on our windows.
You talking about the prison cell?
Yeah,
the prison.
the prison
bars.
Yeah, so it literally looks like prison bars.
Yep.
And none of our friends had that.
Yeah.
None of our friends had that. So if one of our friends wanted to go outside and play basketball or visit a friend, they could just open their door and leave.
Yeah.
But we had these gates where you couldn't unlock the door by just going like this. You needed a key to open it.
Yep.
And growing up, I don't know if you had a key, but I didn't have a key. You had a key?
We had to ask the warden to let us out.
Yeah, you have to ask the warden to let us out. And growing up, I was so annoyed by the fact that I needed permission every time I wanted to leave the house. Even if I wanted to go outside for 10 minutes or 30 minutes or just play basketball, I needed to get permission. And, like I said earlier, Mommy always says no. Yep. So I had to ask
That was
Daddy,
her default.
May you please open the door for me? Like, oh my God, that gave me PTSD. May you please open the door for me? But the reason why I bring all that up is because we had those gates, because if Anderson were to walk out, if he were to figure out how to open the door, if he was to unlock it like that, that's what we had. If he were to walk out, he'll get hit by a car because he doesn't know how to cross the street, or he'll keep walking aimlessly. And so my entire life, I saw those bars, exactly what you said, as prison bars. But now as an adult, I'm so grateful for those bars, because it taught me the importance of safety. It taught me the importance of protecting someone who does not know how to protect themselves.
Yeah.
And so that's something that I think about now into adulthood, is what is around me that I think is there to hinder me, when in reality it's there to protect me.
Yeah. I still remember a specific instance when it might have either been before we had the bars, or maybe someone left the door unlocked and Anderson walked out.
Yeah.
And he just walked away, and we were scrambling trying to find him. And we live near a university in Miami. And so literally we were walking all around the neighborhood trying to find him. And then literally, I think one of the campus security guards in their go-kart, they had him and they found him. And somehow they brought him back to either he was in the car and then we were walking around and we found him.
Yeah.
But like that's a really good point of something that you think is there to hold you back, and you feel like it's like, you know, containing you, but it's actually there for safety for the people who can't protect themselves.
Yeah, one of my favorite quotes, I say it all the time. I probably say it every podcast, and the times I've been on TV, I probably said it too. But the quote goes, "Before you remove a fence, think long and hard as to why that fence was put there in the first place."
You say that on every podcast.
I think
that seems like such a specific quote to be saying that.
Because I think about it all the time, because we live in a culture where we value freedom of expression and freedom. But in reality, many times what we think is preventing our freedom is actually keeping us safe. Like if you live on a field, let's say, and there's a large fence around that field, you might say, oh, if only you remove the fence, I have more room to play.
Yeah.
But also if you remove the fence, then it's easier for the wolves to come in. And I think about that all the time.
Yeah.
How do you keep the wolves out? And how do I stay safe?
Yeah.
And that's why that quote means so much to me. There's also another quote that says, don't be so open-minded. Say that again. There's also a quote that I love that says, don't be so, whoa. I can't even talk English.
You forgot English.
Let me say it in Creole. But there's a quote that I love that says, don't be so open-minded that your brain falls out. Right? So you could be as creative as can be, but don't be so creative to the point where, honestly, a lot of people, they're not creative enough. So I don't even want to give that advice.
Yeah.
I think people should be more creative, but we have to think about the importance and value of boundaries.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. One of the things when you were talking about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you were talking about self-actualization.
Yeah.
And I want to pivot the topic to talking about the definition of success. In one of the podcast that we have with our sister Maki on air with the Noels, one of the topics we were talking about was the meaning of success. Yeah. And I believe on that conversation, I define success as something that's personal to you and not looking at other people and seeing where they are or like the journey that they're taking, but focusing on your own journey and becoming better than you were before. So you talked about self-actualization, and you talk about striving to be the best person that you can be. There's a lot of different avenues that we can talk about this. We can talk about greatness. We could talk about legacy. We can talk about excellence. How do you personally define success?
How do I define success? Success is something. So here's the thing. I'm having the problem putting it into one sentence, but the general idea on my definition of success is this. It's something that only you know if you achieved, if you were intentional about defining what success is. Because for many people, success might be getting a 6-figure job. While other people, success is making $45,000 a year because they were raised in a household that only made $23,000 combined, right? So they might say success is $45,000 and having a wife and 2 kids. That might be their success. So I believe that only the individual can define success, and you have to define it in order to achieve it. If you don't define it, then you'll never know if you've achieved it or not.
Yep.
And the problem is, I don't think a lot of people ask themselves, or I don't think a lot of people set smart goals for themselves to even know if they're measuring up to the standards that they should be reaching. And so when I think about success in my own life, I feel I am successful, but I'm not where I want to be. And for me, the reason why I feel like I'm successful, although I'm not where I want to be, is because I see myself on an upward trajectory reaching that goal.
Yeah.
I see myself sort of like on a escalator, but in reality, I ain't gonna lie, it hasn't felt like an escalator. It felt like a very steep set of stairs.
Or an escalator that don't work.
You feel me?
That turn into stairs.
You feel me? So I'm I'm definitely climbing that ladder, but that's because I have a very clear picture and very clear vision. So because I see myself inching toward that vision, I know I am being successful. I know I'm in the process of achieving that ultimate success.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good point. I think speaking for the people who are watching, and especially the people who are familiar with your journey and your career, I think that people would see you as successful.
Yeah.
For me, the way that I define success is, like you said, pursuing a worthy goal.
Yeah.
And like the steps to success is not linear. Like you're not going to take one specific path and become successful. You're going to take detours, and you're going to meet forks in the road, and you're going to experience challenges, and you're going to experience failures. But those are all steps to getting to success.
Yeah.
Another thing that like I really pay attention to a lot is the greatest people in history. Whether it's Alexander the Great, or I've been reading almost every book that I read, they mention Benjamin Franklin for some reason. George Washington, Abraham Lincoln was known as like one of our greatest presidents.
Yeah.
And then even going to like, you know, Roman times and Greek times, talking about Achilles and Odysseus and things like that. Who, like, when you think about like the greatest humans in history and their success and their excellence, like who comes to mind for you?
Ooh, that's a great question. Obviously, Jesus. Jesus Christ.
Shout out to
Yeah.
shout out to JC.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, Mashiach. You feel me? You know,
Take him to church.
You know, Jesus did his big one.
He did.
He did his big one.
He did.
And he's obviously, I want to say, the most successful person in human history because he saved the world. Outside of Jesus Christ, I want to say Nelson Mandela has an extraordinary story. My God. To be an activist in apartheid South Africa, he was sent to prison for 27 years. 27 years. And then come out of prison and become the president of South Africa? That's extraordinary.
Yep.
Oh my God. You know how much self-determination, how much courage and bravery, how much self-confidence it takes to maintain hope while being in prison for 27 years and then become the president of that country? That is deeply inspirational. That's deeply inspirational. So I would say he's one of the most successful people in human history. And as a matter of fact, this is something I've never said publicly, but one of the last conversations I had with Dad was actually about Nelson Mandela. It was within his last few weeks. He showed me a video. It was a black and white video of Nelson Mandela. I think Nelson Mandela was in the U.S. and he was in an interview answering questions. And Dad was like, listen to this, listen to this. And I'm like, oh my God, he knows the interview.
Yep.
And I have to find it. So I can share it with you. But I think Nelson Mandela's life, it was extraordinary.
Yeah. One of the, because you brought up Jesus, obviously, JC. One random thing that I came across in my YouTube feed was the lost years. Do you know about that?
So like, basically 12 to
like 30
to
or
30,
something like
yeah.
that. I mean, we don't have to go too in depth about it, but like I'm curious because like in watching that and understanding that when he left as a boy at 12 years old and he came back at 30, he came back enlightened. He came back performing miracles. He came back and no one recognized him. And I feel like I've been personally in that season, and this is my attempt at coming back into the arena and coming back into the world. But for me personally, like during my, lost years and lost time. Like it was spent like reflecting on myself. It was spent like reading and learning and studying and understanding like what's next, what does the future hold, what kind of impact do I want to have on people. So I'm curious. Actually, no, let's segue into your books, because we have your stack of books here, and I want to talk about how one of the first books that you created, you felt that you had to isolate yourself and go to a different place to write that book. So let's talk about, obviously you are always on stages, but in order to create something great and in order to come back and like be on a public stage, there needs to be private victories that need to happen.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what kind of things, like how do you approach your private time and how do you approach that quiet time and that lost time where nobody knows what you're working on, but then you come out and you show the world what you've been working on?
Yeah, I treat my private time as sacred, because if I don't value my time, then I don't value my life. Because my life is made up of time. And so when I'm by myself, I either have to ask myself, how can I be productive? But someone might say, you can't be productive all the time. But when I think about productive, I think of production as either how am I building something that will make my life better in the future, or what am I doing to rest so I can enjoy myself right now in the present, while also ensuring that doesn't harm my future. So that wasn't always my mentality. It used to always be productive, where I was working with no joy. I didn't know any TV shows. I didn't know.
You still haven't seen Game of Thrones.
I still haven't seen Game of Thrones.
That's insane. Dan is shaking his head. He's like, you haven't seen?
Didn't watch any TV shows. Didn't know most of the music that's out there. Still don't know a lot of the music that's out there, to be honest. But I was so focused on working. But I approached my private time as a way to ensure that the time I spend on earth is great.
Yeah.
Because when I was in college and I was writing my first book, most of my friends, they were not writing a book, obviously, because most people, it doesn't even cross their mind.
Yeah. Most people are not even reading books, let alone writing books.
And for the people that it does cross their mind to write a book, most people never write the first word.
Yeah.
And while working on my first book, I realized that I did have to make a lot of sacrifices. I did have to spend less time with my friends. When people wanted to go out, go clubbing, go do whatever, I knew I had a responsibility to my future self to build something now that I can enjoy later.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's talk about your books. We have your stack of books. You've written books about presentations.
Yeah.
This one is Powerful Presenting, How to Overcome One of the Nation's Greatest Fears.
Yeah.
You wrote a book about how to cross the starting line and kind of excelling over like some of the roadblocks that causes people not to start.
Yeah.
So let's start with Powerful Presenting. And I think what's very special about this is that for me, I really enjoy reading. As you know, like I
really do.
I read a lot of books. Like literally, I probably read a book a week. And the way that I do that pretty much is whenever I get a new book, I will find out how many pages are in the book, and I split it in 7. So let's say that there's 200 pages. I'll split it up, divide by 7, and then each block I would read it per day, and I would make sure that if I wake up in the morning, I'll try to read it, and if I can't finish it in the morning, I'll read it at night. And literally, I'm consistent on that, like reading a book a week.
That takes an extraordinary amount of discipline.
Yeah. And I learned that from Dad, like growing up and seeing him even like late into the wee hours of the night, he's like reading, he's studying the Bible. He literally created a library for us in our house. We had encyclopedias, we had like these books that taught about like different topics, about religion, about foods, about cultures,
different
about
colorful books.
Exactly, like those kind of books. So literally learning and education was something that was really instilled in us from a very, very young age. And so, like I said, a lot of people don't even read books, but the fact that you literally wrote multiple books
Yeah.
is insane. And I think the value of books is that it becomes your legacy. Like it speaks for you in rooms where you're not able to speak, is able to travel to places that you're not able to travel. And especially like the topics that you write about are very nourishing to the soul, are very applicable to people's lives and the things that they want to do to live their best life. So let's start, and that was a lot of preamble, but let's start talking about powerful presenting, and I'll give it to you. Like, what was the genesis of writing that book? Where were you in your life that caused you or inspired you to write this book?
Yeah. The first thought I ever had that I could write a book took place in Miami-Dade College. So growing up, as you said, our parents obviously valued education. I never valued it personally that much until I became an adult. I was never a great student. I was always average at best. My grammar always left a lot to be desired. My sentence structure was poor, stuttered a lot, the whole nine. So I wasn't a great communicator, and my writing was never great. So I never even saw myself as an author. It never occurred to me that I could be an author until I was in class one day at Miami-Dade College, and there was actually a public speaker who came in. And the speaker, he did a great job. And at the end, he was selling his books. Now, that wasn't the impressive part. He said, "Oh, I also have other books I'm selling my son wrote." And I'm like, "Your son?" Because this speaker, he wasn't that old.
Right.
It wasn't the 70-year-old man. He must have been in his mid-40s max. So I raised my hand. I was like, "How old is your son?" And I believe he said his son was in his early 20s. And I said, "You can write a book in your early 20s?" I said, "Bet, say less.
Say less.
I got next."
Say less. Say
Like,
less.
literally, that was my motivation.
Yeah.
The second I learned that it's possible to write a book at that age, I said, then I'm writing a book.
Yeah.
Like, what else are we talking about?
No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Yeah, I'm writing a book like that. I literally started writing my first book. And I remember I was writing a book on this laptop I got for free because I was a part of the 5,000 Role Models of Excellence program. Shout out to Congresswoman Frederica Wilson. You a real one. And I had this laptop from the 5,000 Role Models, and I was working on this book. It had Microsoft Word on it at the time, and I was so happy about it. And at one time, a friend of mine told me about this money-making opportunity for multi-level marketing, ACN, and all you had to pay was $500 in order to join ACN, and you might be a millionaire in 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Get rich quick.
And I said, you know what? I need to pay $500. So, but I didn't have $500, so I started pawning things off, and I pawned that laptop.
That's crazy.
Pawned the laptop I started writing my first book on.
That's crazy.
And this was around the time when there was no Google Docs, so nothing automatically saved.
That's insane.
And it was a scam, obviously, and I didn't get my money back.
Well, you mean you didn't become a millionaire in 2 weeks?
I didn't become a millionaire in 2 weeks.
Damn.
So I didn't get my money back, and I had no money to get my laptop back. So whatever book I was writing at the age of, I think I was 17 when I went to college, 17, 18, that book is gone.
Yeah.
It's gone. So that was really my first book. But over the years since then, I started writing and rewriting book writings and rewriting books because I was like, this is not the right thing to talk about. Now, how I got to Powerful Presenting, what people don't know is the time of isolation when I went to Canada to finish writing my first book, and I actually did, because that was a book I finally decided that I'm going to focus on. But I was 80 to 90% through for a very long time, and I said, you know what? If I really want to finish this book, I need to isolate myself. So I flew to Canada for a few days, and I said I'm just going to lock myself in the Airbnb and write. So that book is actually not this one. Because after I was done writing that book, I said, this book speaks a lot about success. And I'm not successful yet. Mind you, I was probably 22 at the time, 22, 23. But I finished that book. And I was very happy that I did. But then I was like, I've been a public speaker for a lot of years now. And a lot of people always ask me, how can they become a better speaker? So I decided I want to release something that I have credibility in, something that I can actually back up. And so that's how this book, Powerful Presenting, How to Overcome One of the Nation's Fears, came about. And so this book changed my life because it told me that I could do something if I just put my mind to it, that I could accomplish something that I've never seen anybody close to me accomplish. It helped open this whole world of opportunities for me. And I became a full-time professor at the age of 25. And I became a professor teaching public speaking.
Yep.
And the reason why I had the credibility to become a professor, the reason why they trusted me is obviously because I got a master's degree in communication, but also because they saw that I was an authority in the field because I had a book on public speaking.
Yeah.
And so this book became a key that opened doors that otherwise would not have been opened. But also this book, Powerful Presenting, was also a lifeline for me because around the time that I released the book, I didn't really have a lot of money, right? And I wasn't getting paid to speak at that time. I wasn't getting paid as much as I'm getting paid now to speak. And there were times where I had no money in my bank account, no savings, no anything, but I needed to put gas in my car. I needed to put food on my plate. And someone would send me a message and say, hey, I saw that you released a book. Can I buy one? And I'm like, yes, please.
Please help me. Help me.
Help me. And, I'm calling Collective. I'm like, yeah, you can just purchase one. Do you take cash? Yes, I take cash. And that $20 was what I needed
at that
to
moment.
put gas in my car.
Is
what I needed to go to Pollo Tropical and buy that 1/4 chicken with white rice,
black
beans. Boy, that's what I needed. So
it came right on time.
It came right on time. I serve an on-time God, okay? Because people don't realize how much it helps authors. Because most authors, and this will sound like a crazy statistic, but 80 to 90% of authors do not sell more than 500 copies. You see someone with a book, most of them don't sell 500 copies. Just because you write a book, that doesn't mean selling a lot. So in my position as a college student, as someone who's strapped for cash, this book, it helped me. It helped me tremendously, and I'm forever grateful for it.
Yeah. I love what you said about hearing from the person who came in and spoke, and what he said encouraged you to become an author. Like hearing that his son, who was so young, became an author. I think you posted a video recently about your trip to Nigeria, and you were talking to a group of young children. And in one of the, call and responses where it was like, yes, I believe. I think it was yes, I believe. And you were saying, do you believe that you can become an author? And they're like, yes, I believe. Do you believe that you can change the world? Yes, I believe. Do you believe that you can become the president of this country? Yes, I believe. So like, that is so inspirational, and I can only imagine like what kind of impact that had on those children, where you coming in and them seeing you as an author and seeing like in their eyes as seeing someone who's successful, to be able to point to them individually and say, you can be where I am. Let's talk about that before we go into the next book. Let's talk about like how you inspire the youth to follow their dreams.
Listen, most people when they hear there's a speaker coming to campus, they roll their eyes and suck their teeth because most speakers are not effective. Let's be real. I'm gonna just keep it a buck.
Keep it 100.
I'm gonna keep it 100. You feel me? Keep it a Benjamin. Speaking about Benjamin Franklin, I'm just keep it a bean.
Yep.
You feel me? Most speakers are not great, but the speakers that are great, they have this level of influence that literally can transform somebody's life.
Yep.
The same way that speaker transformed my life. And I think about that all the time because now as someone who's been speaking since 2014, at the time of this recording is 2026, it's been 12 years. I've delivered many speeches. I got to be close to 1,000 now, maybe. But I've also listened to thousands of speeches. And now I listen to a speech and it'll take a lot for me to say, wow, this was very inspirational. But it still happens, obviously. But there's a lot of young people who have not heard thousands of speeches. They have not heard a lot of effective presenters. And I know when I come in the room, I'm rocking the stage. And it occurs to me every time that what I'm about to do when I step on this stage, I'm about to flip somebody's world upside down.
Yep.
I'm about to say and do some things that 20 years from now, they're going to say, I became a doctor because some guy came to my school. They may not remember my name. They go say some... they gonna say they gonna say some neighbor came to they gonna say some
ninja.
They'll say some neighbor came to my school and he said this one sentence that really changed how I view myself, how I view my family, how I view what's possible for my future. And it dawns on me that every time I touch the mic, that happens. And many times people don't come up to you and tell you how much they inspired you, but sometimes they do. So there's not even a real measurement to even know how many people you truly inspired.
Yeah.
And so I'm grateful that God has me in this position.
Yeah. And then speaking of stages also, you've been on one of the biggest stages of all, which is TEDx. You're a TEDx speaker.
Yeah.
So let's talk about very quickly, we don't have to talk about the journey to getting to TEDx, but let's talk about what kind of impact it had on you being up there and what kind of feedback you got from doing that talk on TEDx.
Yeah. The TED Talk, that's something every speaker aspires to do because TED has the largest speaking platform in the world. There's this one moment from the TED Talk experience that I think about a lot. It happened in 2026. I gave the TED Talk in 2023. It got released later that year. And I've heard a lot of great testimonies. Sometimes I'll go to speak and a student will say, oh, I watched your TED Talk. I remember a student told me that she used to watch it every morning while brushing her teeth.
Wow.
I was like, you watch my TED Talk every morning? I was like, let me rewatch this thing to see.
Let me see if it was that good.
All right, let me see it to see what you looking at. Every morning is crazy. And that was really inspirational because I said, okay, that's great. But what really inspired me from the TED Talk,
and this is a 15-minute TED Talk.
It is a 15-minute.
So you brushing your teeth for 15 minutes? She must have had white teeth. She must have had good oral hygiene.
She must have. I say, no way. Oh my God, that's so funny. But when earlier this year, I spoke in Romania, which is crazy.
Yep.
literally spoke in Eastern Europe, and when I went to Romania, the speeches were amazing. But but after one of the speeches, one of the students came up to me and she said, "Wait a minute. I used to watch your TED Talk all the time. It changed my life." She said it changed my life. And I was in Romania.
You're a long way from home.
I was a long way from home,
Yep.
okay? And I'm like, this speech changed the life of somebody in Romania? So you never know who's listening. You never know who's watching. You never know who you inspired. And that's just so powerful to me. And I'm grateful for the TED platform for that.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to talk about Go, and then we'll talk about some of the children's books that you've written. So Go, How to Cross the Starting Line. Pretty much in this book, you talk about different factors that cause people hesitation in starting something that they care about. Let's talk about where were you at this time in your life that inspired you to write this book. And then I believe for this one, you had a celebration at the Little Haiti Cultural Center to launch this. So let's talk about that journey.
Yeah. Go, How to Cross the Starting Line. It's definitely one of my favorite books because it took the longest to write. It took 2 years to write the book. And what started it, actually didn't intend on writing another book at the time, but it was, I would say, it must have, I don't remember the exact year, but someone called me who knew about my first book, Power of Presenting. They seen me speak before, and they knew about Barbershop Speaks, an organization where I host intelligent discussions inside barbershops and beauty salons. So they were asking about how to start a nonprofit, and I was giving her advice. And while I was giving the advice, a lot of that advice centered on just the need to get started, not the process of getting a 501c3 and what it means to have it, but just getting over the hump of starting alone. As I was giving her that advice, I said, wait a minute. I said, this advice kind of fire. No, I said, I can't even lie to you. This advice was fire. And I remember this conversation with someone named Anne-Marie. Because first when I was talking, I was pacing. And I'm just dropping bars. But and I said, wait a minute. And literally in real time, I said, this could be a book, what I'm saying. So as I was talking to her, I was typing. I was literally talking and typing the first words of this book. And I was sharing a lot of those main points. And when I was done with her, I already had the outline of the book. I already had the outline of the book. I didn't have the name of the book at the time. At the time, it was called Fruition, which people are like, fruition? But you know the term, this comes into fruition.
Yep.
And I was like, no one knows what fruition means. And no one even says the word by itself. People usually say the same phrase. So it took months for me to get a better title. But at the minimum, I had the outline. And literally all the words that I started writing on that phone conversation are in this book right now. And that was the genesis. And it was a 2-year journey from then.
That's insane. That's insane. And then the celebration that you had to launch the book, I believe it actually was on your birthday?
No, graduation.
Oh, graduation. That's right.
May 1st,
Speaking of celebrating life, your graduation. So let's talk about like that event and like what it meant to have all those people together celebrating, you know, your legacy and the words that you've like put for prosperity.
Yeah, it meant a lot to see so many people there. First of all, the fact that I rented out the Little Haiti Cultural Center for that event was mind-blowing because I'm someone that speak at a lot of events, and the events that I do host are usually not super large. So I don't throw a lot of big events. And the fact that so many people came and showed love and they purchased books, they sat down and watched me read it on stage. Our sister Makisha did a great job hosting. Mrs. Dorian came through with, and my tante Tisa with the food and everything. It was just an extraordinary event. I forgot the question because I'm just reliving the moment right now. But this book was meaningful to me at the time and even now because I realized that the reason most people are not successful is not because they don't have opportunities, it's not because they don't have the skills, but it's because they never start. And if I could help lower those barriers to entry, then you give yourself a better shot at succeeding.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah,
that is beautiful. Okay, so let's talk about. I think we'll end on these books.
Yeah.
You wrote a couple of children's books.
Yeah.
One of them is called Clippers of Change, a Barbershop Guide to Government.
Yeah.
And then you also wrote a book called Yes, I Believe.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what inspired you to write children's books. What kind of help did you have to put them together? And then what kind of impact have you seen on the children who have read them?
Yeah. Yes, I Believe. I wrote this book because, and this is the third book that I wrote it because whenever I would speak in schools, speak at conferences, and students would come up to me, they would say, this is the first time I truly believed in myself. This is the first time I really feel I have the confidence to go out and be something. In my head, I'm like, is it your first time? I'm like, you 19. With all due respect.
Better late than never.
You're 19.
Yep.
And so I'm happy to be that person that ushers you into this new reality. I'm grateful for that. But it got to come earlier, my friend.
Yep.
We got to do more for our kids. We have to do more with helping them believe in themselves, exposing them to different career opportunities. So I wrote Yes, I Believe because if you really think about it, there's a lot of reasons for it. But if you really think about it, a lot of people, they are in the career field that they saw their parents were in. So if you saw your dad did taxi, then you're like, okay, I might be in the transportation business. If your dad or mom was a doctor, you're like, I'm be in the medical field. So that's how a lot of people are. And it's understandable because you think your ceiling is where your parents' ceiling was. But I think we should have a different mentality. I think where our parents' ceiling is, that should be our floor. Come on, can the church say amen? Is there a way to add amen? I just dropped the bar.
Hallelujah.
There gotta be a way, or organ or something, because I'm about to get revved up right now. There gotta be something, because I was on
We need to get a piano in here, Dan. We need to get an organ.
Hold up. Hey, what's up?
We need to get a orchestra or a band or something.
Like, I need something.
A choir like Shekinah Glory.
You know, get on the keys, you know.
Yeah, standing on the shoulders of giants.
Yeah, standing on the shoulders of giants.
For sure.
And so the book has a kid, there's a father sitting with his children, and he's talking to them. He said, you could be a pilot. You could fly through the sky like Superman. Do you believe that? And the kid is saying, yes, I believe. And on the page, they're saying, yes, I believe. It's a literal image of the kid envisioning himself in the cockpit saying, yes, I believe. And then the father is saying, you could be an astronaut. You could eat cotton candy on the moon. Do you believe that? And the kid, you could see them eating cotton candy on the moon saying, yes, I believe. And so it helps them to believe and envision themselves in these career fields that their parents are probably not in. And it is so inspirational to kids around the world, because one of my most fun moments reading this was in Nigeria, the video you were talking about. And I remember pointing at a kid saying, you could be an author. And he was like, me? Like, he was shocked at pointing at him. And he was like, me? I can be an author? I said, yes, you.
But then a bunch of other kids around there like raising hands.
Yeah, they're like, can I be an author too? Like, because they wanted me to point at them. And I'm like, yes, you can be an author. And so I love Yes, I Believe the most. And also, this is also meaningful to me because it was during COVID time that I was working on this book, because I couldn't give the same type of speeches I was giving because we weren't allowed to meet in person, and the world essentially stopped. And while the world stopped, I was in the lab working.
We need that organ, Dan. We need an organ.
So
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed that book, and like I always say, you can't be what you can't see. And so for you to show all these different scenarios
Yeah.
where a child can see themselves and picture themselves in different careers and different industries,
Yeah.
it opens up their possibility of what is possible for them. And I don't want to, I mean, I guess I don't want to give the ending away, but like at the end, you say, what is it about being a president?
Yeah.
If you want to read that part.
Yeah. So the girl asked dad, but daddy, do you think I can become the president? And the dad said, yes, I believe you can become the president. You will be an amazing leader. Do you believe that? And then
What did she say?
a zoom in shot. She said,
yes, I believe.
I believe.
In her power suit
with the pearls.
With
the pearls, if you know, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And so.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah, I think that just thinking about our upbringing and the impact that dad had on us and our parents had on us, they literally instilled in us that we could be whoever we want to be.
Yeah.
Like they didn't put themselves in boxes. They didn't say, this is who I am. They encouraged us to like follow our passions, to focus on education, to expand our minds, to be prepared for whatever opportunity comes up so that you can take advantage of it.
Yeah.
And I definitely think that that's where it originated. I know that you were working with a couple of organizations.
Yeah.
So Gear Up and Trio.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about those organizations?
Yes, yes. Gear Up and Trio are extraordinary organizations because it helps students who are like me, first generation and low income students. Because when you go from teenager to young adult and then you leave your parents' home, or even if you don't leave your parents' home, you enter into a school system that can be confusing, that's definitely challenging, you need support. Because if you're a first generation student and your parents didn't navigate through the financial aid process, if your parents never took the SAT or ACT, if your parents don't know what it's like to move into a dorm with an unruly roommate, they don't have advice to give you. They don't really have sort of that background to open up doors for you in order to be successful in that space. And what Trio and Gear Up does is they help those students by giving them access and opportunities and resources in order for them to succeed in school. And if you look at the statistics, you look at the numbers of students who went through Gear Up and Trio programs, you'll see that it's making an extraordinary difference in the lives of first generation and low income students. So I discovered these organizations a few years ago while I was speaking to those population of students since 2014. I discovered those organizations a few years ago. And when I found them, I said, oh my God, this is something that I needed when I was in school. If I had a Trio or Gear Up program that I knew about and that I actively participated in, I would not have dropped out of college the first time. Because not a lot of people know that, but I actually dropped out of college. Well, that's what my TED Talk was about. And
From a
eventually
college
I went back
dropout
to
to
college.
college professor.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And I'm grateful to be a partner with so many Gear Up and Trio organizations. And I've been to many conferences with directors and the coordinators and the people who work with the students, and they're passionate. They care about what they do. These are not people who's coming to work just to get a check. These are not people who's coming to work just so they could have something to do throughout the day. These people are hungry to see their kids in the program succeed. These people are passionate. These people love what they do. These directors and coordinators and the people who work in finance and everybody in the organization, they are sacrificing a lot in order to see those students graduate. And being a partner with so many organizations is inspirational to me because while a lot of people have a gloomy outlook on the future, and a lot of people do, a lot of people are uncertain about the future. I stand with confidence that I stand with confidence knowing that the future won't be as dark as most people think it'll be, because there are organizations like Gear Up and Trio that's doing what they can to ensure that a segment of our population that otherwise would have been crushed under pressure, they're thriving and growing and succeeding. So I'm grateful to that, and I'm hopeful for the future because of them.
I think Dan has. Is that the organ?
You got the organ? Oh, come on, play the organ. You gotta play it.
Hey. You
gotta play the organ. Hey.
Yo, Dan is in the building.
When I start preaching, you gotta let it ride. You gotta play that organ.
Shame on me for not shouting out Attractive Mindset Studio. Come on now. Like,
yeah.
Shout out to Dan, our engineer, Attractive Mindset, for being such a gracious host and showing us hospitality in the studio, allowing us to share this message.
Yeah.
But that's a beautiful thing. So Gear Up, Trio. For people who are interested in your books and how to find them, where can they go to find your books?
Yeah, you either could go on Amazon and type in Jefferson Noel, and you should see any of my books come up. Or if you go on my website, that's the preferred place to go. Go to jeffnoelspeaks.com/books. You'll see all my books there. It'll still take you to Amazon, but you know for sure that's the right Jefferson Noel. Yep. But if you go on jeffnoelspeaks.com/books, that's where you'll find them. You could watch a lot of videos of me speaking on that website. You'll also see a way to where you could contact me directly on my website. And so, yeah.
All right. JeffersonNoel.com.
Yeah, Jeff Noel Speaks.
Oh, Jeff Noel Speaks.
Yeah, JeffNoelSpeaks.com.
All right. So I want to pivot into talking about relationships. There's one book that is like the gold standard of relationships, and that is How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Yeah.
Literally, like I've seen so many research studies where it said that your life improves and the quality of your life is based off of the quality of your relationships.
Yeah, facts.
And so like I have these 3 books here: How to Win Friends and Influence People, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and Think and Grow Rich. And the reason why I have these here is because, as we mentioned before, Dad created a library for us in our house.
Yeah.
And it was filled with all different types of books. It was filled with like these self-help books. It was filled with books about religion, about spirituality.
Yeah.
Our mom was really into grammar, so there was a lot of grammar books, like syntax and word structure and all that stuff. But like these 3 books, whenever I'm at an impasse of life of like trying to figure out how to, like, what is the North Star of like, you know, having better relationships or having a positive mentality on becoming wealthy or like becoming effective. We talk about begin with the end in mind, those kind of things. Those books like really, really stand out to me. So just with How to Win Friends, Influence People, like we'll talk about relationships. What is your take on the power of relationships?
Relationships are everything. Okay,
everything.
It's everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would not be where I am if not for relationships. Trust me. Yes, I mentioned part of the reason why I became a full-time professor at the age of 25 is because of my book, Powerful Presenting: How to Overcome One of the Nation's Greatest Fears. But it's also because of my mentor and friend, Dr. Russell Motley. It took him to believe in me to say, this guy can do it. He can lead a class. He can become a full-time professor while many people wanted me to stay adjunct. He can do this. And because he fought for me, it opened those doors. Another person that fought for me is Dr. Hobbs. Shout out to Dr. William Hobbs. He's out in Virginia right now. But those people, they loved me, and that love was shown through action. I would not be where I am as a professor if not for Dr. Motley, if not for Dr. Hobbs. Also, the books that I've written, when I finished writing Powerful Presenting, I had a bunch of people read the book, like, yo, read this, take a look at it, and tell me what you think. And I got advice, and then I was able to make some changes based on what people said. And I did that a lot with my books prior to ChatGPT. Now I'm like, yo, ChatGPT, read this real quick. I'm like, yo, Chat, take a look at this. What you think? And you know, ChatGPT always gassing you up. Yeah. Like, I think this is a powerful concept. I just have what's the
It's not this, but it's that.
I'm like, nah, what I said was good. What I said was good. Don't try me. But, you know, so having people read it and give me the validation, that also was encouraging as well. And I could go on and on about my speaking career. It took one mentor who told me about Trio and Gear Up, Dr. Jared Benjamin. Had he not told me about it, I wouldn't have known about these special, incredible organizations. Mm-hmm. So all of these relationships, they don't just start because someone see that you need something. They open up those doors because of that reverence through trust that's built over time. And so my entire life where I am, the success I've experienced is because of relationships.
Yeah. For the people who are watching and listening, what would be your advice for them improving the relationships in their life?
Lead with gratitude. When I tell you, and that's another thing, Dad is all over my life. Lead with gratitude. Lead, I'm telling you, gratitude, having a gracious heart, someone who is appreciative of what other people have done is the secret weapon. If a mentor tells you to buy a book, buy it, read it, or buy it and tell them that you bought it and say thank you. If they make a connection, don't just go and meet that person they connected you with, had a great conversation and move on. Go back and say thank you. If a friend goes out of their way to help you move or to do something for you that you would have paid for, always say thank you. Find a way to say thank you, but not only with your words, but with your actions as well. I'm telling you, you'll be surprised by how many people I have helped or showed love to or gone out of my way for, and there wasn't any real gratitude. But granted, I don't do it so people could say thank you, but it's always nice to hear thank you. And I'm hyper intentional about that. Yeah. And if there's someone here who has helped me in life and I didn't say thank you yet, I just want to say thank you.
They're probably somewhere saying you're welcome.
Yeah.
All right, and then the last book we'll talk about is The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Yeah.
And for those of you who are watching who didn't see our first interview that we did back in, I want to say maybe it was 2013 when I was in Houston, you started off that conversation by saying begin with the end in mind. And that's one of the 7 habits of highly effective people. So what does that habit mean to you, and how have you used that in your life, beginning with the end in mind?
Yeah. That habit, it's been transformative for me because I think, if I'm not mistaken, I read that book close to a decade ago. Something that he said in the book is there's always 2 creations. The first creation happens in the mind, and the second creation happens physically. When you go to a store and you see products on a shelf, before that product came to be, it was someone saying, I could create this delicacy called Snickers that only a certain portion of the population, that only a certain segment of the population could eat. Yeah, I'm petty. Yeah. If you jumped in the middle of this podcast, you got to go back to the beginning.
Yeah, you're gonna have to rewind. Yep. But Snickers are delicious, though. I'm not gonna hold you.
So they say.
No cap. No cap. You should try it if you haven't.
Try with an EpiPen.
Make sure you got an EpiPen handy.
But no, but it took someone to say, I have an idea. And that product was created in their mind before it existed physically. So being intentional about your thoughts, about your self-talk, whether positive or negative, and whatever is constantly going through your mind would eventually be exhibited through your actions.
Yeah, I love that. And that's actually my favorite habit as well. The way that I see beginning with the end in mind is pretty much about goal setting. It's about seeing what the final picture looks like. I think in one of your talks, you talked about how you have to desire something, you have to want something. But in order for you to desire it, you have to know what it looks like and you have to visualize it. So that's definitely my favorite. And then I guess just speaking about books, based off of these 3 books and knowing that people don't like to read and it's pretty much a lot of stories and a lot of fluff, I actually put together I put together a book, and it's called The Success Blueprint. And it's pretty much just no fluff, all facts of the key topics from each one of these books. And if you notice from a lot of the books that I read, I underline the key points in the book. And whenever I want to reread a book, I don't read the whole book. I just read what I underlined. And it's literally like just a shot of here are the key points, key nuggets of the book. And so based off of these 3 books, I put together a book called The Success Blueprint. And you can find it on noelmedia.co. That's noelmedia.co.
So I could go and copy right now.
You can. It is available at noelmedia.co.
Okay.
But I put that together because like these are very important topics, and they're topics that they're universal. They impact every single person, whether it's relationships or being effective at work or being effective in your passions or the things that you want to accomplish. If you want to get involved in your church, like being effective there. And then also thinking and growing rich. Like rich doesn't necessarily have to mean money. You could be rich in health. You could be rich in your relationships. You can be rich in abundance of, your spirituality and your self-actualization. So just having that mindset, I think that is the first step. Like you mentioned, of the 2 creations. The first creation is creating it in your mind and having that mindset that something like that is possible for you, that you're possible of being, like it's possible for you to be wealthy. It's possible for you to be rich. It's possible for you to improve your health. It's possible for you to have discipline and accomplish the goals that you have. It's possible for you to change your circumstances because you have to change your mindset. That's the first step. And so that was the goal. Once again, you can find it at noelmedia.co. Perfect. All right. So we have 2 more topics. Okay. So in recent news, one of the greatest of all time in basketball history, if not the greatest of all time,
definitely the greatest,
has decided to take his talents to the city of brotherly love.
Yes.
So since we're talking about brotherly love, let's talk about what this move means. Let's talk about LeBron Raymond James.
Yes.
What does it mean that he has gone to Philly? Like, I think that's shaking up. And this is not a sports podcast, but we like sports here. Clearly.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it.
Yeah. So I am obviously a very big LeBron fan. I love.
That's an understatement.
I said very big.
Like it's Shannon Sharp and then it's you.
I'm a very big LeBron fan. Like he's a GOAT, and I mean he's a GOAT visually, statistically, historically, whatever Lee you want to add. Like he's just the greatest. And I would debate anybody on this topic any time of the week. Now, what does it mean for him to go to Philly? I might have a very different perspective than most people. To me, what I'm going to love the most is just seeing him play. I know his goal is to win a championship, and I hope he does. But for me, his legacy is already sealed. This is just icing on the top. He's been playing with house money for a very long time. after he won the chip with the Lakers, to me, I mean, since 2018 when he averaged a triple-double in the finals, like that was incredible. I think he led both teams in points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks. Like, how do you lead both teams across 5 categories? That's goat-ish bad. You know what I'm saying? And so... And so, to me, I'm just excited to see him play. I'm not saying, oh, this is it. He's about to win another chip. That's not even on my mind. Because if you look at the 2010 Boston Celtics, if you look at their starting lineup, their point guard was Rajon Rondo. Their shooting guard was Ray Allen, one of the greatest three-point shooters of all time. Their power forward was Paul Pierce, one of the top 10 small forwards of all time. Their power forward was Kevin Garnett, one of the greatest power forwards of all time.
Mr. Anything is possible.
And their center was Shaq, the greatest center of all time. Right? And so if you look at that on paper, you would think that's an automatic chip.
Yeah.
But that the team that was in the championship that year was LeBron James. And so I'm seeing a 42-year-old LeBron James go to Philadelphia, and we have Joel Embiid, we have VJ Edgecombe, we have Tyrese Maxey, and we have Jaylen Brown. Extraordinary lineup, but it's extraordinary on paper. We don't know what it's going to look like when the ball is tipped in the air. And so I'm excited to watch LeBron play, but to me, this season and the rest of the years he's playing in NBA, to me, is just icing on the cake. For me, I'm watching it like it's the big 3.
Yeah.
It's great to watch, but people are not saying you're great or bad because you are exceeding in the big 3.
Yeah. No, I mean, we're at a very interesting time where the greats and the legends that we watched growing up play, they're coming towards the end of their career. Yeah. Whether it's LeBron, whether it's Steph Curry,
Kevin Durant,
KD. I think that just goes to show, like, obviously we're both big LeBron fans and we're fans of greatness. We're fans of people who like put in the work and like trust the process. I think what's most inspirational about seeing LeBron play is just the consistency. Yeah. Like staying available, staying healthy, like doing the right things to go out there and perform. I think that no matter what avenue that you're in, whether it's sports or business or speaking or education or being a pastor, like there's something to learn from that, of sticking through something for so long, for 20, it's about to be his 24th year, 24th season. So like to stick through something for that long. And then I mentioned before how success is not a linear journey. There's some people who stay with an organization, the same organization, for their entire career, but then there's some where they hop around to different places. And a lot of times you need to go to an environment where everyone around you, like their ultimate goal in mind is to win a chip and to be successful. So it's just a beautiful thing to watch, to see him continue to play at such a high level. And I think that the day that he decides to retire, we're going to have to throw something on the grill.
On the grill, my God. Like, it's going to be a dark day.
We're going to have to.
It's going to be, I'm telling you, 100 years from now, it'll be studied in social studies. This is the day that LeBron James retired. That's going to be a very sad day.
But we have at least 2 years.
Well, hopefully at least 2 years.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I'll say one thing, because people, when they hear me talk about LeBron, they think I think he's a GOAT because he's my favorite player. My favorite player is Dwayne Wade, then Kobe. I grew up watching D. Wade and then watching Kobe Jelly Bean Bryant. I absolutely loved watching him. I didn't realize who LeBron was or how great he was until he came out of Miami Heat. And even when he came out of the Heat, he wasn't my favorite player. But he became someone I admired for 2 reasons. One, because I saw that even as great as he was still getting better. I said, how is he getting better? He walked in as the chosen one. He already won a lot of league MVPs. He already was leading the league in many categories, and he's still getting better? I said, that's someone worth admiring.
Yeah.
But then the second reason is because I used to work for his wife when he was in Miami. And I used to see LeBron all the time. We used to clap each other up. And he used to like, yo, what's up, Jay?
What up, Jay?
I'm like, yo, what's good, bro? What's good, bro? Right? And he was a dope guy. He was always cool. I was working in the back, chopping carrots and cleaning Calvin romaine.
This is at the smoothie
at the juice spot.
Juice spot.
Yeah, and shaving apples and all this other stuff. So he didn't have to come to say what's up to me.
Yeah.
He could have just been in the front with all of his celebrity and wealthy friends. But every single time LeBron came to the juice spot, he always went to the back and personally greeted everybody.
Yeah.
And it showed me that he's actually a great human.
Yeah. LeBron is a stand-up guy. I watch Mind the Game.
Yeah.
Like religiously every episode. I think he's just one example of someone who did it the right way on and off the court. Like he's a role model. He's a standout guy, and just talking about an example of being a man, an example of giving back to the community, an example of excellence, an example of being a leader, of pulling people to their highest potential. Like that's a beautiful example. I do want to talk because you mentioned Kobe.
Yeah.
In our first interview, you mentioned that one of your regrets is that you didn't get a chance to have a conversation with Kobe.
Yeah.
And I do want to show Kobe some love on wax. Kobe is also one of my favorite players.
Yeah.
And in my house, I have this portrait, and it's Kobe like backing down Jordan.
Yeah.
I know that they played in the All-Star game. Yeah. But this one has like Kobe in his Lakers jersey and Jordan in his Bulls jersey.
Yeah, they definitely overlap because Kobe came into the league in '96.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The reason why I want to show Kobe love is because like everyone knows about the Mamba mentality.
Yeah.
But the one aspect that really resonates with me is I remember seeing on YouTube where they put Kobe and Jordan side by side, and Kobe's doing the exact same moves that Jordan is doing, like word for word, bar for bar, like the step backs, the like getting to the hole, all those different things. And that really stood out to me because it's like, literally, if you have an example of greatness, all you have to do is follow that blueprint. And even if you don't become that person, you can still create a great career for yourself.
Yeah.
And Kobe has, what is it, five rings. Rings. And so whenever I look at that portrait, I think keep hustling until your idols become your rivals. Like keep hustling, follow the blueprint, trust the process. Like you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Like if you have people in your life who have been successful in certain avenues in their careers, just use that as a blueprint. You don't have to recreate the wheel.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to, show Kobe some love on wax. And then also on top of that, he had, was it a 20-year, he was in the league for 20 years.
Yeah.
But then after he retired, he always talked about building a media company.
Yeah.
And he wanted the next 20 years to be greater than the first 20 years that he had in the league.
On my mind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so like that's inspiration for me of like before he left this earth too soon, like he was trying to be great in a different area, and he was building a media company just like as I'm trying to build. So just to close this out, like I'm curious to hear like what kind of impact the idea and the memory of Kobe has had on you.
Yeah. Listen, the passing of Kobe was and is extremely sad. I remember I found out I was in Louisville, Kentucky at a conference about to go to the airport, and the news dropped. And what was extremely sad, and you already said it, but what's on my mind right now is the fact that he was about to enter into a new career and be one of the greatest in the career. He won an Emmy with Dear Basketball. Like that's something people work their entire lives to get to. And the fact that after he left the NBA and he started working on this new project with the same intensity that he did when he put in when he would play basketball, he put that same intensity into his media company and into Dear Basketball. It just really showed how you could transform who you are using the same skills that you used in the past. So you could be a doctor today and a lawyer tomorrow. That's who Kobe was. He's someone who was able to transfer his skills and his mentality across different industries. And that's a lesson to me that I could become great in whatever industry I want. I just have to keep that same work ethic. And Kobe showed me that. And he's also the reason why I slept in class all the time. He's also the reason why I slept in class all the time, because his games would start at 10:30 p.m. and it would end like at 12:30, 1 a.m. And I had to wake up for school at 5 a.m.
That's crazy.
So I would watch his entire games on TV all the time, but it was worth every minute.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's beautiful. Shout out to Kobe.
yeah.
Rest in heaven.
Yeah.
All right. So the last topic that we're going to talk about is something that is very near and dear to both of our hearts. We started off the conversation by talking about Dad. And one of the things and one of the legacy that he left for us was what he called a souvenir for his son, a souvenir that he created for me. So pretty much Dad, in the first year of my life, he had a video camera and he recorded me throughout my first year and like all of the, experiences that I had to be able to look back and see how I was as a child. And on this VHS tape, he labeled it a souvenir for my son. And so what I want to do right now is create a souvenir for my son. I want to create a souvenir for your nephew, Alexander James Noel.
Well, yeah.
I think that there's a lot that we learned from Dad, but then there was a lot that he didn't know that he couldn't teach us. And there was a lot that we had to figure out for ourselves.
Yeah.
And obviously it's been a journey. Obviously there's stumbles that we had on the way. And I'll speak for myself, stumbles and mistakes that I've made. And, different decisions that I made that weren't great and there were L's, but the way that I see L's is lessons. I think that the service that I want to provide for my son, for Alexander, is being an example of what it means to be a man and giving him the tools to not have to make the same mistakes that I made. Helping him to start, like if it's a 4-lap race, helping him to start on the second or third lap instead of like having to start from behind the starting line. There's so many experiences that I had when it comes to education, going to school, relationships and things like that. I think, and just to speak directly to AJ, like you're gonna go through like dark times, like you're going to question everything. You're gonna make mistakes and you're gonna stumble, but you just got to know who you are, and you always got to return to that. You got to listen to yourself. You have to listen to the people around you who have your best interests at heart. And just continue to grow, continue to get better, continue to learn from your mistakes. One of like my experiences in high school or in college, actually, when I went off to college, was doing research on my name, on the name of David. And we talked about this before, how the reason why our dad gave us our names. Like Dad gave me the name David because he was a king in the Bible. And he gave you the name Jefferson because Jefferson was a president. And that was the level, that was the expectation that our dad had for us.
Yeah.
Like he wanted us to live up to our name. And that is the reason why I named Alexander the Great.
Mm-hmm. You want him to dominate.
Exactly. I
Mm-hmm.
want him to be a conqueror.
Mm-hmm.
The actual meaning of Alexander is the defender of men.
That's tough.
Yeah. So my hope for Alexander, who I believe will be the greatest Alexander of all time, is that you will see two examples of being a man, and you'll be able to see the possibilities. You'll be able to just hearing from our stories where we started and where we will end up. Hopefully, eventually, when you watch this, is like you can literally be anything that you want to be. There's been so many great Alexanders in history. There's been Alexander Hamilton, who was a framer of the Constitution.
Yeah.
There's been Alexander Graham Bell, who invented the telephone.
Telly.
There's an Alexander who created penicillin. I forgot his actual last name. Alexander
invention.
McQueen, who was like at the top of his game for fashion. So it was very intentional about me naming him Alexander, because you can look at all the different Alexanders and you can see that they were at the top of their game. And going back to Yes, I Believe, of seeing examples, you see those examples. For me, recently I've been doing a lot more research on the story of King David in the Bible and like his rise. And that has given me courage and confidence to tackle my own Goliaths in my life. And so my hope for you is that you live up to both your first name and your last name, and that watching this gives you courage and inspiration to be whoever you want to be.
No.
So now I'm going to pass it on to your uncle.
Yeah.
Maybe your uncle might have a few words for you.
Yeah. Your father spoke to you about your first name, Alexander. I want to talk to you about your middle name, James. You know, when you think of James, we could think of James Baldwin, who was an excellent communicator. And I believe that communication is one of those skills that will transform your life. If you become intentional about becoming an effective communicator, both verbal and written, there is no limit for you. The sky is not the limit. The sky will be your stomping grounds. Mars will be your launch pad. You'll be able to traverse anywhere in this universe if you are intentional about being a great communicator. I also think of LeBron James. I think of LeBron James. And what's great about him is he's great across so many different facets, where he is a great scorer, as a matter of fact, the greatest scorer of all time, but he's also great at defense, where he could guard 5 different positions. He's also a great passer, so he's looking out for others and ensuring that other people succeed, right? He's known for his chase down block, so that teaches you to never give up, even when it looks like something is out of hand. And if you follow the example of LeBron James and honor that middle name, that beautiful middle name that you have, not only will you become great, but that greatness will be sustained over a long period of time.